beaming across the eastern townships from the heart of Brome-Missisquoi. This is 99.1 CITI.
Welcome to the Alternatives. You have choices. I'm your host, Ilya Kavukis, and this show is brought to you by the Sunshine Center in Sutton, where we offer a whole bunch of neat things, I feel, and everybody who walks in through the doors just loves it there. We offer all kinds of ways that people can help themselves to deal with their stress, deal with their health issues, emotional issues in some cases. We offer massage therapy, acupuncture, all kinds of wonderful therapies, shiatsu. We also offer courses. We have fabulous teachers that come in and teach courses like yoga, meditation, qigong. And today I have a wonderful guest. His name is Daniel Laberge, and he teaches yoga, what he likes to call his classes yoga mix, because he says it gives him the freedom to do what he likes in his classes. So welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. Hello, Ilya. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here and get to talk about yoga, which is one of my favorite subjects. I've been doing yoga for 18 years now, and I still have my original mat. It's all kinds of colors now, and I've graduated to another mat, thicker. So for our listeners who perhaps have done yoga, have heard about it, don't know what exactly it is, let's start with give us a definition of what is yoga.
Okay. What we consider yoga here in North America is really more what we call asana, which is postures. So if you go into a yoga class, you're probably not going to do yoga, you're going to do asana, which is postures. If we're talking about yoga, it's much more of a philosophy, way of life. So if I answer your question, I believe that I would have to say more about asana, so postures. In a yoga class, the postures are there to bring about more stability in the body. So most people believe that it's about becoming more flexible. Actually, becoming more flexible doesn't really do anything except make you more flexible. In the words of my teacher, when you get more stability in the body, necessarily the mind follows. So if you had the choice between getting a mind that's more stable or a mind that's more flexible, I guess most people would find that a mind that is more stable would be something more interesting. So the definition of yoga is really about uniting things. In this case, it would be uniting the body with the mind. So by stabilizing different parts of the body, you get to stabilize the mind. So in a regular yoga class, the asanas are meant to bring about more stability in the body, first of all by working the muscles. So by working different muscles in different postures, you get to balance the front body, the back body, the side body. And a bit deeper into the practice, what happens is that once the muscles have learnt to work in harmony with each other, then you can start working on the physiology, so on the bones themselves, to align the bones. And once a few years into the practice, once this is a little more understood, then you can go into the organic part of yoga, which is really what the books are about. If you read the books, you'll find that this posture is good for digestion, it's good for the immune system, it's good for the hormone system. But these things come about with a lot of practice. So actually, if people just start yoga, the advantage would be more physical, so just more on the muscle level. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that answers a bit more appropriately your question.
Sure. Because I know I wasn't born flexible. Like I remember when I was a kid sitting around a little circle with my friends, and one of my friends had her knees, she was sitting on her butt, but her knees were, and her legs, the bottom of her legs were off to the side, and I tried doing that. So, oh my God, I can't do that. And so I remember as a child I wasn't very flexible, but once I started my yoga practice, I saw an improvement. So for me it was, oh great, this is improving my stability. I started my practice later on. I was in my 20s, but before that I went skiing, downhill skiing a couple of times, and I was just the worst downhill skier. Not that I wasn't in shape, but I was the worst downhill skier. Well, after about 10-15 years of doing yoga on a regular basis, and having moved out here to the townships, I started to ski again. I said, oh, let's try this, skiing. And I went and I did some downhill skiing. And to my surprise, I was a much better skier in my age, in my later years, than when I was in my, youth. So, well, not that I'm old now, but you know what I mean. So I realized that the only difference was that I was doing yoga. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you about the stability it brings in the body, and you're much more in your body, and you're more aware of its limitations, and also you've worked it in a different way than just regular exercises, so it can sustain all kinds of activities when you put it through all kinds of activities, because I do like activities, a variety of activities. So I like your idea of creating more stability in the body. So I'd just like to tell our listeners that you're listening to CIDI 99.1 FM, the Alternatives radio show, aired twice a week at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings at 8:30. We are talking this week about yoga with our wonderful teacher, Daniel Laberge, who was just telling us about his definition of yoga. And what attracted you to yoga, Danielle?
I moved to the townships about 10 years ago, and I started doing yoga in a gym. So the yoga teacher was actually a dance instructor, and I guess it was just for keeping in shape.
Did they call it yoga then, or was it just a stretching class?
No, okay. It was called yoga. Oh. Although, thinking about it now, it wasn't really yoga that she was teaching, but it was a start. I mean, sure. And for me, that's what it was. It was a start. The story becomes interesting because the teacher left after a year of teaching, and I knew the director of the gym, and she asked me to become the yoga teacher. Now, not having any other experience than just these classes once a week, I said, do you really? I mean, really? Do you really think I can teach yoga? And she said, the people here, they're average Joes. They just want to get in shape, have a bit of stretch here and there. So we'll pay for your training.
No kidding.
Yep. Their idea of training is 2 weekends. Oh. So I started the semester with a weekend of training, and then I practiced by myself with books and practicing a few times a week. Then I had the second weekend of training, and I started teaching yoga.
Fascinating. So you were forced into it.
I was kind of, the door got wide open, and I just went in.
Okay.
And when I started teaching, I started taking classes. So a few months later,